everyone, what's up? My name is Joss and welcome back to my channel squibblesreads. It has been a hot minute since I've done one of these videos, but on my channel I have a series called Hidden Gem Books, and in this series I introduce to you guys lesser known books that I have read, are currently reading, or want to read, and this is going to be the fourth video in that series. All of the books that I'm going to talk about today have very few reviews on Goodreads, most of them under 500 and some of them even under 100 reviews. Lately I've been getting a lot into fiction that has kind of a gothic-y type feel and darker material, so that is kind of like loosely the large umbrella that the books that I'm going to talk about today are going to fall under. The first of these books I started on the plane ride to Chicago when I went to BEA back in May, and I just never got around to finishing it because on the plane ride back I was just so excited about the books that I got there. So I am about 60% through and really enjoying The Butcher's Hook by Janet Ellis. This is a book that takes place in the summer of 1763 in Georgian London, and we follow a girl named Anne who has unfortunately suffered some abuse at the hands of her father's friend who is a tutor. Anne's father is a wealthy merchant, so there are some discrepancies in society with finances and stature, and even more unfortunately she has been betrothed in an arranged marriage to this uppity and pretentious guy. But she is a crafty and twisted young woman, and one day she goes into the city to visit the butcher and she begins to form a romantic, dark, twisty relationship with the butcher's son whose name is Fub. She starts to sneak out and make excuses and meets people along the way, and us as a reader has to figure out if their relationship is going to spiral into something that ends up really bad. I think it sounds way more romance heavy than it actually is, but those are like the main plot points. But where this book really shines is building the atmosphere and the distinguished and unique characterization of all of these characters that is really actually reminiscent of Jane Steele by Lindsay Fay, which you guys know is one of my favorite books of the year. Just as a warning, there are some butchering scenes in this book, so if that's something that you are sensitive to, just be warned about that. I am going to finish the remaining 40% before the end of the month, so I will let you guys know how I enjoy it. The second book I just got and I'm super excited to read, and it's called The Shadow Hour by Kate Riordan. I think the blurb is intentionally vague, but we are in the year 1922 and we follow a girl named Grace who has just been sent to Phoenix House to follow in her grandmother's footsteps as a governess. Her grandmother terminated her position there after only one summer, which is a little bit odd, and when she meets the residents of Phoenix House she finds out that some of the things that her grandma's told her are not exactly the most truthful, so some of those secrets start to unravel throughout the course of this book. I really love suspenseful and mysterious books with like old Victorian houses and skirts with big petticoats, and you can kind of just like see the candles flicker and the upstairs-downstairs relationship like on Downton Abbey, so I'm hoping that this ends up being something like that. This next book has a few mixed reviews, but a couple of people that I really trust, like Brittany and Jean and I believe Kelly, have really enjoyed this, so I do want to try it myself, and that book is Lowe by Eleanor Wassenberg. Our narrator begins as a 4-year-old girl named Green who lives in this cult-like group called Lowe. We see the cult through her eyes and we get to see their version of education and manipulation and mind-gamey type stuff, and I think this is particularly interesting because the narrator has been immersed and indoctrinated in this stuff for her whole life. We meet her when she's 4, so from a very young age, and I hope to get to this book very soon. Next we have The Monster's Wife by Kate Horsley. This is a sequel to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which is about the girl who was transformed into a bride for Victor Frankenstein's monster. Her name is Una, and previously her best friend May got a job working for Dr. Frankenstein as a housemaid and eventually gets Una a job as well. Una starts to get closer with the doctor and becomes his accomplice, but she starts to have her suspicions and truths begin to reveal themselves throughout the book. I've always really enjoyed Frankenstein. The first time that I read it was really early on in high school. I think it was one of the very first classics that I've ever read, so I was really happy to find this book. Finally, I am also in the middle of The Unseeing by Anna Mazzola. It takes place in 1837 in London, and we have a woman named Sarah Hale who is a mother and a seamstress who has been accused of allegedly taking part in the murder of Hannah Brown, who was murdered on the eve of her wedding. A guy named Edmund is assigned to investigate these charges, but Sarah is being kind of mysteriously silent and ignoring him, and since she is sentenced to hang, which is like the most serious sentence, she seems to not really care about her own life and is very nonchalant about it, but he suspects that there is something larger going on and she's not exactly telling the whole truth. I'm not too far in, like under 10%, but I am enjoying what little I have read, so I will probably review this one at the end of the month too. That is kind of what I've been into lately, like gothic-y, suspense, mystery type stuff. I don't really know what to call it, but I think that seems to be like the best description. If you guys have any books that you've read that are kind of like this that you want to recommend to me, or if you just want to let me know what you think about these books, do let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!